Help me. Please. Help me. I am a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda. The wizard, Aghanim, has done something to the other missing girls. Now only I remain. Aghanim has seized control of the castle and is now trying to open the Seven Wise Men's seal. I am in the dungeon of the castle. Please help me. Mick, I'm going out for a while. I'll be back by morning. Don't leave the house. You can't tell me what to do, old man. I'm gonna run around and smash these pots. Not that that really helps us much, because we're already at full health, but one thing we will want to do is pick up the lamp before we leave. Yo guys, let me through, you cowards! What are you doing this late? What are you doing up this late, kid? You can stay up when you grow up. Now go home. No! But yes, we do want to follow our uncle, I believe it was. What's the sign say? Probably just telling me. I will give 100 rupees to the man who finds the descendants of the wise men. The king, quote-unquote. Probably Aghanim putting that up, not the king. Yo, listen, I heard a voice. The Zelda's in trouble. No? You're not allowed in the castle, son. Go home and get some sleep. Nope. I refuse, sir. I'm just gonna go for a stroll around the castle, and... What is this? A very convenient hole. Let us enter, shall we? And immediately... Mick, I didn't want you involved in this. I told you not to leave the house. Take my sword and shield and listen. You can focus power in the blade, then release it using a secret technique handed down by our people. Mick, you can do it. Save the princess. Zelda is your... To reuse a joke that every single person ever who has played this version of the game has used, the Super Nintendo version, by the way. Zelda's my what? Zelda is my what? Tell me, old man. Zelda is my what? I believe future versions of the game correct it to Destiny or something similar. I'm not sure. The Super Nintendo version is the one I'm most familiar with. I did have the Game Boy Advance version at some point, but not so much anymore. And now that we have magic, we can use the magic lamp there, and lights up the room a little bit. Not that it's overly useful, but it's good to keep in mind, because some rooms are much more dark than that. And yes, the technique Uncle was telling us about is the spin attack, where we just hold the button and then release it. And I believe the spin attack does double damage, so it's a good move to take care of enemies with. And now we are in the castle. Okay, so the knights with the short swords do not aggro towards you. They kind of just wander, but if they have longer swords, then they will charge you when they see you. And their swords also block attacks if you hit them there. So you kind of gotta work around them and kill them that way. Alright, enemies also have strengths that is indicated by their color. Green is the weakest, blue is in the middle, red is the strongest. And it's like that way for Link as well. In previous games and in this game later, you can get armor upgrades. Okay, so up here we don't really see anything we can do. So all we can do for now is turn back and explore the castle elsewhere. And I believe, yes, to the left and to the right there are these types of entrances on both sides. Either of them will work for you. And I believe, yeah, throwing bottles does deal a lot of damage as well, so that is a good thing to keep in mind. Then up here is something to remember for much later. We can't do anything about this now. We try, we will get zapped. Don't take any damage though, which is nice. But regardless, there's nothing else to do on the walls of Hyrule Castle, so let's just go back to the castle and jump back down and go through these doors and see what else is in store for us. So you can see I attack with spin attacks very often because it's a good way, because you can wait for enemies to approach and then just release it, and it's hard for enemies to block. And as I said, it does double damage, so it's just a very good enemy clear in that regard. Hey, buddy. There we go. 2 spin attacks is good enough for that. And of course, now we have the map, which does exactly what it says on the tin. It shows us every room in the dungeon, and the ones that are lit up are the ones that we have explored, whereas the ones that are dark, we have yet to explore. Anyway, we have a key, so use that to open the door, and... Hey, buddy. You can also knock enemies off of ledges like that. However, I believe if you do that, you give up the opportunity to get any drops from them. Not that these guys have been giving me much, but sometimes enemies can drop hearts and rupees, so if you want that, kill them the good old-fashioned way. So I'm not really sure why there's an upper path here. I guess it's to avoid the enemies, but there's really no real reason to take it. It's just a short detour that takes you to the very same place, which is the door we have to reach. And I believe the key is in the room to the right now. We just want to kill that guy, and it's either in the chest or the blue guard's holding it. I believe the blue guard's holding it, and then in the chest is the boomerang? Yes. So let's switch that off instead of our lamp. I feel like it'll be more useful because the boomerang can stun enemies. And for weaker enemies such as bats, I believe it kills them outright. Not that bats are an issue right now, but I believe they will be soon enough. So yeah, you hit the knight with the boomerang, the knight stops in its tracks. Try and pick up the green rupel. There we go. Okay, and coming up is our first sort of mini-boss. And he has a ball and chain that is very hard to get behind its defenses from, but you don't need to as long as you have jars to throw them at him, because with the jars you can kill them. And now we have the big key, which generally opens the door to the boss, but there is no boss here, just the cell. And before talking to Princess Zelda, we're gonna steal her 5 rupees. Thank you, Mick. I had a feeling you were getting close. Mick, listen carefully. The wizard is magically controlling all the soldiers in the castle. I fear the worst for my father. The wizard is an inhuman fiend with strong magical powers. Do you understand? No. Yeah, of course I do. Alright, let's get out of here before the wizard notices. I know a secret path, but first, we have to go to the first floor. Let's go. And by the first floor... But yeah, now we have Zelda following us, which really doesn't really affect much. And a lot of games, it's probably where you'd expect a very annoying escort quest, but thankfully Zelda is not so. She sticks close behind you and really just doesn't really hinder you in the ways a lot of escorts do. So one thing that always confused me about her sprites is that, looking at her sprite from the side, her hair seems to cut off around her chin, and that way from the back as well, but when looking at her front sprite, it looks like it's going down much longer, and that's probably just her arms being like a similar color to her hair, but her hair looks so much longer from her front sprite to me. And that's always something that stuck out to me. Even though it's something really minor, it doesn't really matter, but it's always just stuck out to me a lot. Anyway, we'll just walk past these guys for now. Sup, fellas? Don't worry about me, I'm a little Hylian boy. I'm not harmful, even though I'm just like a little 10-year-old with a sword that has taken out at least like 20 trained swordsmen at this point, so like, come on, Hyrule Knights, step it up. Fully plate armor, too. Like, how's my sword piercing that armor? Link's just like a very, like, first time picking up a sword, it's just a very accurate shot. He's able to, like, just hit right in between the cracks in the armor with ease. But yes, as she's telling us, we want to go to the throne room, the place where we couldn't really do much before. And that ornamental shelf should open. Do you have a light? It's pitch dark inside, and you can't see much without one. If you're ready, let's go. Help me push it from the left. There we go, and now that we have two people, we can push this open, whereas if we tried with one person before, nothing would have happened. Okay, yes, now the lamp is somewhat useful, because if we find sconces, we can light said sconces, and we can see more than that small little cone of vision. And if we light more than one, it will get brighter. There we go. But they do go out after some time, and when they do, things will start to get darker. Ah, the snakes. Or as they're officially named, rope for some reason. I don't know why. Rope snake. They're pretty easy. If you're on the same plane as you, they'll charge towards you, so you can just kind of wait for them and slash that way. And they're a lot slower in A Link to the Past than they are in Zelda 1, as far as I remember. Because I remember Zelda 1, they're kind of obnoxious to hit sometimes, but in this one, it's just stick out your sword, they'll run into it, it's fine. Bum, 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 bum. After passing through these sewers, we'll be very close to the sanctuary. Let's be careful. Oh right, the rats can't really travel across the water much, can they? So that one was kind of just stuck on the platform. And do we need a... No, we don't need a key yet. Ooh, a red rupee, worth 20. That's very nice, considering we only had 30 until now, but now that's almost doubled. I feel like one of these rats will have a key. Yep, and it is the first one that I take on. So let's just use that and move on into the next room. Here, let's get that green rupee. Round us up at a solid 50 rupees. Okay, now there's a cracked wall here, which once you have bombs, you can open it. But I find that there's not really any reason to come back here to open that locked door, that bombable wall in particular. I believe it just has some rupees and, if I can figure out the correct button, there we go. And just like the map to this area in particular, maybe the compass, I don't remember. I just remember it not being really worth it to come back. There's really no real reason for me to kill all the enemies, but I don't know. I like doing that. I like clearing out the rooms whenever possible. Ignore the room earlier that I just skipped everyone in. That was an anomaly. Sanctuary is just beyond that door. Pull the switch over there. Now there are two, and the correct one Zelda will telegraph. When you pop up close, she'll tell you how to pull the levers. So it's this one. I like to not follow instructions, though, so I'm going to pull the wrong one and see what happens. And what happens is a bunch of snakes just fall from the ceiling. Well, let's just take them out, see if we can't get any rupees for it. Only like 2. Okay. But yeah, now we can pull this switch, and it will open up the door, and into the sanctuary we arrive. Princess Zelda, You are safe! Is this your doing, Mick? Yes, it was Mick who helped me escape from the dungeon when I was captive. The wizard said, once I've finished with you, the final one, the seal of the wise men will open. Mick, you must not let the land of Hyrule fall into the wizard's clutches. If he releases the seal of the 7 wise men, evil power will overwhelm this land. Before that happens, before it's too late, destroy the wizard before he destroys all of Hyrule. You can do it! You can. I sense that a mighty evil force guides the wizard's actions and augments his magical power. The only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard is the legendary Master Sword. It is said that the village elder is descendant of one of the 7 wise men. Maybe he can tell you more. I'll mark his house on your map, but watch your every move. I am certain that the castle soldiers will be looking for you now. I will hide Princess Zelda here. Do not worry. Seek the elder. Do you understand? Yes, I do. And of course, first things first, there's a chest here, so we want to open it and get our first heart container, which gives us, well, an extra heart container to play with. So now we have 4. God, this music. This music always makes me feel like, I don't know, it has this, like, sad and kind of frightening feel to me. I don't know, there's just a bit of hopelessness whenever I listen to it. But, on that note, now that we are through the very first dungeon of the game, the Hyrule Castle and its sewers, I think this is a good place to stop off for now. So, thank you so very much everyone for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next episode of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. See you then.